Hi folks, Josh Clark again. For this recording, I will be discussing several man-made site constraints that should be considered when designing a landscape. The first man-made site constraint to consider would be the existing features on a site. Structures such as buildings, sheds, and patios, coupled with planting beds, trees, and other existing features, will affect the placement and layout of proposed landscape features. Existing structures affect proposed features in various ways. Structures can change the sunniness of a site and how other elements like wind and rain affect the landscape. Structures with foundations also constrain where certain BMPs can be placed. Typically, water-retaining BMPs should be placed in the landscape at least 10 feet from a structure's foundation. Increased man-made structures on site typically increase impervious surfaces, which leads to more stormwater runoff. If a BMP is being designed, the site's impervious surfaces are considered, specifically their size and where they drain. These have direct bearing on the size of the practice. One major thing to consider for landscape installations is the location of utilities. Public utilities such as electric lines, gas lines, and water lines should be located and noted in a design document, as each utility will have specific setbacks associated with them, and you quite frankly do not want to touch them. Public utilities will be marked by misutilities. You can contact Misutility for those markings by calling 811 or by visiting misutility.net. We will discuss misutility more in depth later in your training. Keep in mind that private utilities such as septic fields, sprinkler systems, landscape lighting, and private generators will not be marked by misutility. Property owners should be consulted to help locate those types of utilities. Other major site conditions to consider are jurisdictional constraints. Sometimes, due to local laws and ordinances, different jurisdictions will limit what can be done on site. Examples of these are right-of-ways, easements, permitting, and the critical area. We will be going more deeply into these topics later in your training, but I wanted to highlight that these are considered when designing projects and their installation. This concludes this recording. As you investigate the man-made conditions on a site and have questions, don't hesitate to let me know.